Breaking news! US aircraft carrier USS George Washington nag-patrol sa West Philippine Sea kahapon. Sa gitna ng bidding para sa next generation fighter jets ng Pilipinas, may bagong lumutang na contender, ang F-2 Viper Zero ng Japan. Pero teka, hindi ba phase out na to? Bakit parang biglang gusto ibenta sa atin? At habang kabi-kabilaan ang offer sa ating Air Force, ang AFP naman ay nag-setup ng one-theater approach sa East at South China Sea. Pero wait lang, bakit parang may coordinated military show of force na nangyayari? Stick around dahil may shocking revelations tayo dito na hindi nyo pa narinig sa ibang news vlogs. Before we dive deep sa Japan at one-theater strategy, let's talk about yung latest development. Ang USS George Washington, isang Nimitz-class nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, nag-patrol sa West Philippine Sea kahapon. Captain Timothy Waits, commanding officer ng vessel, clearly stated their mission. We share the values of open and free Pacific Indo-Pacific region. That's why we're out here. Ang timing, sobrang perfect. Just days after Sara Duterte's independent foreign policy statement, biglang may nuclear-powered aircraft carrier na nag-show up sa backyard natin. Ang ganda pa ng diplomatic language ni Captain Waits. He emphasized ang importance ng open and free sea lanes just from a commercial aspect alone. Basically, saying na hindi lang military ang issue dito. 3 trilyong dolyar ang halaga ng annual shipborne commerce na dumadaan sa area. Sara's independent foreign policy versus $3 trillion na global trade. Mga ka-pulse point, before we dive deep, let me tell you something na magbabago ng perspective nyo sa lahat ng nangyayari ngayon. What if I told you na ang Japan's sudden generosity with their F-2 Viper Zero fighters at ang one theater concept ay hindi coincidence? May master plan dito na directly connected sa recent statements ni VP Sara Duterte about China. At ang mga developments na ito ay mas malaki pa sa inaakala nyo. But wait, may twist pa tayo dito. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro just announced na we're implementing a one-theater concept sa East at South China Sea, basically treating both areas as one military operation zone. Sounds fancy, pero ang ibig sabihin nito, coordinated response tayo with Japan, Australia, at US against China's aggression. Ayos talaga ito. Kasi may coordinating center pa na i-establish ngayong Disyembre. Parang Avengers headquarters, pero for Asia-Pacific region. Ang Lithuania's defense minister pa nga ang nagsabi na we're facing absolutely similar threats and our hostile neighbors are using absolutely similar approach. Translation, China's playbook ay pareho lang sa Russia. Bully tactics, territory grabbing at intimidation. Kaya nga may synergy in operations, intelligence exchange, at real-time coordination na mangyayari. Tignan ninyo ang irony ng situation, mga ka-pulse point. While Iran is literally picking up nuclear debris from their facilities after getting hit by American B-2 bombers and GBU-57 bunker busters. Yes, yung mga bombs na pwedeng mag-penetrate ng underground facilities na mas matigas pa sa ulo ng mga pro-China politicians natin. Dito sa Pilipinas, hindi talaga mawawala ang mga public officials na excited makipag-holding hands kay Xi Jinping. Si Vice President Sara Duterte, hinamon si President Marcos na mag-man up daw at humarap sa China ng mag-isa. Sabi niya, wag yung parang magtago ka sa skirt ng iyong nanay.
Wag yung parang, ano ba yung magtago ka sa saya ng iyong nanay? Ano bang sayin yun? Oo, magtago ka sa saya ng iyong nanay. Hindi. You stand on your own and face China with regard to your issues in the West Philippine Sea.
Ano to? Elementary playground? Laban lang tayo sa China, walang tulong-tulong. Parang David versus Goliath, pero walang slingshot at bato, ha?
You don't lean towards another superpower and say na, oh, please help me because he is bullying me. Yun. We have our Filipino pride.
But wait, gets ko naman yung point niya about Filipino pride. Sino ba naman ang gustong maging dependent sa ibang bansa, di ba? Sabi pa niya, kumbaga, may problema tayo sa China, so bakit tayo kampi sa US? Para magkaroon ka naman ng dignidad as a country.
Kumaga, may problema tayo sa China. So bakit tayo campaign sa US? Parang magkaroon ka naman ng dignidad.
Eto na naman tayo. Dignidad argument. But let me ask you this. Anong dignidad meron tayo if we get steamrolled by China's massive military machine? Sometimes, pragmatism beats pride, especially kapag ang neighbor mo has nuclear weapons at maritime militia na parang video game cheat codes ang dami. Ang funny part pa dito, she's calling for Filipino pride while basically suggesting na mag-isolate tayo. Pero tignan nyo, even Lithuania na malayo sa Pilipinas ay nakikita ang similarities ng threats natin sa kanila. That's not coincidence, that's geopolitics.
Their joint actions are threatening the free world, are threatening the democracy in this world. Lithuania has already experienced what it means to be occupied by an empire twice. Now, when we see what they are doing with their armed forces, with their military industry, but we see these horrifying materials, videos, how they are threatening Filipinian fishermen. If they work together to threaten us, then we must work together to defend ourselves and to send a very clear strategic message. We are not going to let ourselves be scared. We are going to stand up to them together.
VP Sara, reality check tayo. Yung China na yan, hindi lang bully. Nuclear-armed superpower yan, na may mahigit 1 bilyong population at economy na $1 trillion. Tayo? Tayo naman. Well, at least may confidential funds. Speaking of international support, ang Quad Ministers, US, Australia, India, at Japan, just rejected China's unilateral and dangerous acts sa South China Sea at East China Sea. Hindi ito basta statement lang, ito ay diplomatic slap sa mukha ng China. Sabi nila, we remain seriously concerned about the situation. We reiterate our strong opposition to any unilateral actions that seek to change the status quo by force or coercion. Ang ganda ng timing ng statement na ito. Exactly when Sara is pushing for an independent foreign policy. But here's the reality check. Kapag 4 na major powers ay hayagang sumusuporta sa ating position against China's aggression, hindi yan pagiging dependence. Yan ay smart diplomacy. Bagay na saludo ako sa admin na ito. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. VP Sara keeps saying na hindi daw siya pro-China.
Sasabihin nila, ako ay isang pro-China person. Matagal na nila yan na narrative na pro-China ako. I'm not pro any country at all.
Pero ang kanyang mga statements ay pabor sa China's preferred narrative. Less US alliance, more neutrality. Huwag makialam sa superpower rivalry. But here's what she's missing. Neutrality only works kung equal ang power dynamics. Here's the nuclear truth na hindi sinasabi ng mga pro-China crowd. Iran just demonstrated what happens kapag binangga mo ang isang superpower mag-isa. Alam ninyo kung bakit nagiging aggressive ang China sa West Philippine Sea. Because they know tayo lang ang walang nuclear deterrent sa region. Japan has US nuclear umbrella. South Korea din. Australia may AUKUS. Tayo? Tayo may Sara Duterte na nagsasabing lumaban tayo mag-isa. Now, let's be real. Sara's statement isn't just some emotional outburst. It's a loaded political grenade. But here's the twist. Habang sinasabi ni Sara na huwag umasa sa superpower, nagkukumahog naman ang AFP sa paghanap ng bagong fighter jets. Sa dami ng bid para sa multi-role fighter project ng Philippine Air Force, parang may talent show na nagaganap. May Amerikano, may Koreano, may Swedish, at ngayon, may Japanese din? Pero teka, wag tayo agad ma-excite. Kasi ang Japan, ang ini-offer nila ay hindi F-35, hindi F-15EX. Confirmed na ni Commanding General Arthur Cordura, ang Japanese fighters na sinasabi niya ay talaga palang Mitsubishi F-2 Viper Zero. Hindi lang assumption ng Max Defense Philippines. But here's the thing, mga ka-pulse point, ang F-2 Viper Zero ay out of production na. At currently, pinaplano na ring palitan ng Japan mismo. So bakit ngayon nila ino-offer sa atin? Ibig sabihin ba nito, bibili tayo ng jets na second hand, phase out na, tapos posibleng palyado pa? Simple lang yan. Strategic chess move ito against China. Max Defense suggests na may dalawang posibleng dahilan kung bakit biglang lumutang ang F-2. Public relations stunt lang ito. Dahil sa recent na visit ng Japan Atlas sa Basa Air Base, baka nagpapakita lang ng goodwill. Or ito talaga ay isang real offer. Possibly part of a geopolitical move. Japan is literally killing two birds with one stone. Mag-upgrade sila ng kanilang fleet to F-35s habang pinapalakas ang ating defense capabilities para sa West Philippine Sea dispute. Ang timing, sobrang suspicious, di ba? Ayon sa blog, pwedeng i-transfer sa atin ang isang squadron o dalawa ng F-2 Viper Zero para mapalakas ang depensa ng Pilipinas laban sa China dahil useful din to para sa Japan strategically. Ito yung classic move na here, take my old toys para mas malakas ka against our common enemy. Pero, according to Max Defense, Sweden is offering up to 100% financing at flexible terms. Literal na, pwede kang umutang ng buong halaga. So bakit papasok pa ang used Japanese F-2? Are we getting desperate or are we being smart? Used jets aren't necessarily bad. Pero if these are jets na ang Japan mismo ay gusto nang i-retire, then bakit tayo ang sasalo? Well, let's be real. Beggars can't be choosers. At kailangan natin ng lahat ng tulong na makukuha natin. So balik tayo sa tanong, Sara's call for independence, noble ba o naive? When she says, cultivate good relations with the entire global community sounds nice on paper. Pero in practice, neutrality requires leverage. Switzerland can be neutral kasi may Alps sila at Swiss banks. Singapore can balance superpowers kasi economic hub sila. Tayo? Ano meron tayo na pwedeng i-leverage besides our strategic location? Ang mga genius nating politiko? Her statement na, you need money and power, which the Philippines does not have at the moment, is exactly why we need allies. Acknowledgement mo na nga na walang power, tapos gusto mo pa mag-solo flight against China? That's not Filipino pride. That's Filipino stupidity. But wait, here comes the plot twist. Maybe they have a point about not putting all our eggs in the American basket. Tingnan ninyo ang Iran. trusted Russia for support, pero when push came to shove, naging punching bag pa rin sila. At least if we're playing multiple sides, may options tayo. Pero ang problema kasi, yung China may trust issue. Remember Scarborough Shoal? Promise nila? Mutual withdrawal. Pero sino yung nagstay? Yung artificial island sa Spratlys? Peaceful purposes daw. Pero, bakit may military installations? Here's what's really happening. Ang anti-American sentiment ay sobrang mabenta, especially sa mga tao na frustrated sa Western condescension. It's a political calculation disguised as patriotic rhetoric. Maybe we should ask ourselves, gusto ba talaga nating isugal ang kinabukasan ng ating bansa sa mga salita ng mga politiko na nag-iisip na ang geopolitics ay isang laro lamang? Because, here's the uncomfortable truth. Sa isang mundo kung saan kayang gawing abo ng mga B-2 bombers, sa loob lang ng isang gabi, ang mga nuclear sites na isang dekadang binuo. Marahil, ang pagkakaroon ng mga kaibigan na may bunker busters ay hindi naman masamang ideya. So, sino sa tingin ninyo ang mas mapanganib? Yung superpower na transparent sa kanilang military capabilities? O yung superpower na nagnanakaw ng islands habang nangunguna ng peaceful development?